Wait, according to my YouTube, I'm not. Hold on, what the hell? Where? Oh, here we go. Okay, yes, we are live. What's going on, everyone? Um, as a lot of people probably saw, I made a very long post. Could it be cryptic? A lot of people are telling me cryptic. People are like messaging me like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? What are you gonna talk about and stuff?" To be honest, I feel like I'm gonna talk a little bit about everyone tonight. And this isn't me throwing myself in the drama. I'm not attacking anybody. What I'm doing is I'm just gonna, I really shouldn't even have to justify this. Okay, when I spoke to Manny last week, he's all like, "Hey, you always talk with fine print. Like you always have to like say your words and then add a little bit extra." And I do it because a lot of people are extremely sensitive, and a lot of people will come after you just for speaking your mind. We're in a world where you can't even speak your opinion because so many people get upset, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about accountability. I want to talk about people using um mental health as an excuse. I want to talk about people trying to live off of their fans, where everyone's cash app is just as identifiable as their name. There's a lot of things that like really upset me about this, and like I've been thank you. I've always been neutral on platforms. I have been, and I continuously am said like, "Oh, well, you're on Jaime's side." No, I'm not on Jaime's side. Or they'll say like, "Oh, well, you're buddies with Manny, so you go against Vanessa." I've never joined Manny for any of the Vanessa videos or anything like that. I'm against those. I don't like those videos. There's a time where I was doing a live with Manny, and like an hour into, is like, "Oh, well, we're gonna talk about Vanessa and stuff." I was there for about like 5 minutes, and then I excused myself out because I don't want to. I don't do that. The Muffin Man. Hold on, let me. So there's been a lot of stuff going on today. Oh, that's delicious. Kiwi and guava. That is very good. So yeah, a lot of back and forth's been going on, and I, I've I stay off of it. I'll comment here and there, but I never engage in it. All I do is I'll comment about the topic. Like, um, so yeah, and a lot of people are wanting to cancel each other out, or a lot of people are wanting to go after people just for liking a comment, sharing a status, and stuff like that. And it's really disturbing. So what I want to talk about first is the whole donate to my Cash App, or a monthly fee, or membership plans, or um that whole thing that is just really, I don't know. I feel like it's dirty. Yes, it's okay to have your supporters back you. I'm not saying that they shouldn't spend their money. What I'm saying is my issues with it. My issues with it is everyone who you know monetize and stuff, they start seeing like, hey, this is a way to make money, this is really great. That should be enough for them, versus a lot of people who do it for for nothing. Like I think I I think you see a very drastic change when people start monetizing, and that's when they start like wanting to throw their stuff out there. And yeah, it's okay to ask for help when you need it. I know there's a time where I really needed it, so I asked for help. But I want to say 99% of the time, I'll put my cash up out there, but I'll say, hey, we're donating to this cause, or hey, it's going to this, charity, or hey, we're doing this. Like my Christmas thing, when I do the mental health, when I do the cyberbullying, all those causes, that's where you should be donating money to. I don't think anyone should be asking for money to pay their bills, pay their fines, pay their bail, or anything like that, because at this point, everyone has. At this point, everyone is grown up enough, and I think I could say that because I've said it before. I am the youngest one out of all this, little creator thing. And if I'm able to have everything in order, have like things together, why can't everyone else? Find a hustle that doesn't consist of dry begging, or hey, I'm hungry, donate so I could go get the sandwich, or I'm thirsty, donate so I could get this. There's the cash apps, the monthly fees, the Facebook stars, the all that stuff. And while some people have found fame and fortune through this whole social media and stuff like this, it's a very low level of fame. This isn't, you're gonna get sponsorship deals kind of fame. This is, hey, you're recognizable enough to where we could put some ads on your YouTube videos, and that's really about it. But some individuals will do anything to maintain this viewership. They will do anything to keep these eyes on here, to prevent any viewers from going anywhere else. Exactly. Last time I checked, YouTube is free to watch, and that's the way it should be. The only way you should be making money is from the ad revenues paying you, if you get sponsorship deals, if you have a manager and stuff like that. There shouldn't be any need for you to be like, hey, I got this bill. And it's all these like side, tongue-in-cheek kind of things, like, yeah, I got this bill and I don't know how I'm gonna pay it, guys. Like, I really need to figure out how to do it. Get off the computer and find a reasonable way to make money. You don't need to have a huge education to make a couple of bucks, okay? You could flip burgers with a GED. You could deliver newspapers with less than a GED. I don't think there's anything like that. Like, yeah, if there's a fan that wants to like donate for your birthday, or if you have like a wedding anniversary, or if you're having a wedding coming up, like me, I've been planning like a wedding for like 3 or 4 years, and you've never heard me say like, "Hey, yeah, I really want these flowers, but they're really expensive. I don't know how I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do it. If anyone wants to help or give me ideas or anything, no, because if there's something I want, I work for it and I earn it." And another thing with all these people who continuously donate with these monthly like fees, with these cash apps, with these, oh, it's the first of the month, it's the middle of the month, it's whatever part of the month, any way you could squeeze some money out of people, that's making the fan base and the viewers and the people who support these responsible. They're the ones who are encouraging these problematic behaviors. Um they're saying like, hey, no matter what you do, you could get arrested and I'm gonna get your back. You could, go do this, go break this law. It's funny, we're all gonna laugh about it. When you get arrested, don't worry, we're all gonna chip in and we're gonna get you out so you can keep doing it again. That's that's just saying like, yeah, it's okay, like you could break the law, like we're gonna get your back. And that's telling the creator like, hey, these people are gonna have my back no matter what. I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna keep doing this. And it causes so many people to be so dependent because they're expecting those, whatever it is, $100 a month they get from memberships. So they're always taking that into accountability, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but don't worry, I'll pay for it later. I have $100 worth of monthly donations coming in and stuff like that. You shouldn't have that. Like, if anything, if you're really serious about your platform, if you're really serious about making this a long-term thing, and you're not just trying to, get rich quick or squeeze as much, you should put that money that comes in, if it's a monthly donation, if it's your YouTube check at the end of the month, you should be putting that back into the show. Why are you gonna ask for people to donate for new equipment? Why are you gonna ask people to donate for, a new software, a microphone, a camera? When you're earning money, you could be putting that money towards what you actually need, instead of, hey, this is going to pay for my dinner, this is going to pay for, my light bill. Set things up a proper way. Okay, I'm sorry. I keep needing to like sidetrack, and I know people are live right now. I'm sure there's people that are live right now. I'm sure there's people that are gonna go live, to once again try and maintain their viewers, to like make sure that no one's watching this, because hey, this is gonna hurt my image. This is gonna affect my bank account, and that's where a lot of people start doing this tug of war thing with viewers, when it shouldn't be like that. Like, everyone's allowed to watch whatever they want, and you shouldn't want to control them. The only reason people try and control all these people, all these viewers, this audience, is because it's going to cut into their bank accounts, and that's where it hurts them the most, because they rely on these, cash apps and stuff like that, these stars and whatever you want to call them. So by doing this, by continuing to support these people who always have their cash app up, who always do that reminder like, hey, just so you know, my cash app is money sign so and so if you want to donate to keep the show going. It doesn't cost anything to keep the show going except your time and a little bit of energy. Aside from that, it's fine. I was doing this for like 2 years without making a cent, and I still did giveaways. I still made appearances. Um I had a full room at the convention center. I didn't make a cent off of that, even though I entertained a huge crowd of over 200 people for about an hour. Didn't make a cent because I liked doing this. I wasn't saying like, hey, at the end of my show, everyone could donate to my Cash App and stuff like this. Um, and that's where you really need to question who you're watching. If they're doing this because hey, they actually enjoy it, they actually want to do a future in this, or if this is like the new trend. You know how people were doing that lottery thing, or people were doing the waffle raffle, whatever they're called. People are kind of just flocking to this like, hey, I could be on the camera, talk for a couple of minutes, earn some money, and then I don't have to work for the rest of the week. Like, I'm paid off for the week. And that's why I say many supporters are to blame for this type of behavior, because they're paying the bonds, they're paying the bills, they're paying for gas, they're paying for food. And it's kind of like they're rewarding people for acting this way, for stalking people, for talking bad about people. Because a lot of a lot of people in these audiences, they're not fans. They really don't like the person they're watching, but they know that they talk crap about someone that they disagree with, so they give them the sympathy view to be like, oh yeah, like I support this person because they don't like this other person. And that's where a lot of it comes down, because everyone at one point, every once in a while, will do a video to where they're not talking about anybody. It'll be like a random topic, a random, uh any old, topic that doesn't involve the drama, doesn't man like talk about, like it doesn't manage to talk about like the bashing and critiquing others and stuff like that. The views are always low. Those are their real viewers. Those are the real viewers that actually like the page, the channel, the platform, or whatever it is. um and people admit like, hey, people say that they don't like the drama, they don't watch this person, they don't do this. And I myself, I'm included. I'm not saying that I'm above all. I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone. I'm here speaking my opinions. I don't like the drama to where I could have a series of videos in between the videos where I cover drama, and I think that's okay. I think it's okay in small doses. But when it's like an every episode thing, when it's expected, when it's your brand, I think that's when you kind of need to admit it. Like, hey, yeah, I'm a drama channel, or hey, I talk crap for a living. That's when you need to admit it and not say like, oh, I'm an entertainer, I'm a news personality, um, I'm a blogger, I'm this, I'm a stylist, I'm a guru, I'm all this. No, you need to admit that when more than half of your content is solely talking about one person or a group of people, or um it's solely like focused on one person, you need to admit like, yeah, I'm an anti this person channel, or hey, I am a hate page, or hey, this is the only way I could get views, so we're going to talk about this person, kind of thing. That's what people need to own up to. Look at the Cheeseman Report. He owns up to it, and people actually like him more for it. Instead of when he started off, he was like just talking about random stuff, and he found a niche that worked. That's very important when you start a YouTube channel. Find a niche that works and just focus on that. It was Cheeseman, so he became the Cheeseman Report, and he'd be like, hey, he owns up to it. He knows what he is. He's not pretending to be anything else. He deserves some support. I'm sorry, I just keep like peeking over to the side over here just to see the comments, because I'm like, my screen on this side is like all the comments and stuff, but I'm here because my microphone and my camera are over here. Um Sorry, I got people asking if I'm really live right now. That being said, it's important to acknowledge that not all creators are problematic. I mean, I've never had any cases on me. People have tried, Ophelia's gone and tried putting cases on me. It never worked, and there was nothing that could ever stick because I'm able to know the limits and boundaries, and I don't go based on what my followers are telling me and stuff. I look up things on my own. But exploiting your followers for a financial gain to, line up your wallet so you could go and do all these things, gambling, vacation, fancy dinners, or however you spend your money. It's I don't think I talk crap or troll in the comments. I'd like to point out. Yeah, and that's another thing as well. A lot of people, like for example, no hate to you. We've spoken before. People get upset with you because you speak your opinion. It doesn't line up with their opinion, so that's what pisses them off, and that's why they come after you. Same thing with this. I haven't pointed out anybody specifically. I'm speaking in broad general terms because I feel like this applies to everybody. I'm not doing it out of fear because no one here bothers me or anything. But just the fact that someone doesn't like what you say, even though it's not threatening, even though it's not abusive, even though it's not harassing, just the fact that you're saying hey, I don't like that this person did that. For people to come after you for that, that's the problem. Yeah, I don't know if Glow still does videos. I really don't know if she does or not. But when I would watch her, yeah, she never asked for money. She says that she wasn't in it for the money. I don't know what her content turned into after I stopped watching her, but I feel like she has her steady income coming in, and she doesn't really need people contributing to it. If people contribute, I'm sure I don't know what she does with the money, but I know when people contribute, I at least find a better way for the money, a better place for the money to go to rather than my pocket, because I would probably fill this place up with even more collectibles. Yeah, and if this video results in people upset, then you need to take a look and find out what bothered you so much. The fact that calling out things, the fact that I'm calling your actions out, and you don't like that you're being called out for the way you act and the way you manipulate your followers and the way you handle your own platform, then you really don't have a problem with me as a person. You have a problem with the fact that I'm calling you out for the bad things you do. So on this chapter, because I have a couple of chapters we're going to cover, like the first one, we're talking about the whole money issue and how if people really want to money, people really need to work for it. Okay, I know people will say hey, this is my job because I put so much time into this, I put so much energy, I put so much work in this. Then why is every episode the exact same thing? There's no time, there's no energy, there's no work put into it. If I could go into your last 5, 6, maybe even 10 episodes, and they're all just copy and pasted with a different layer of paint on it, that's not work. That's not real. That's not you taking it seriously. That's you saying, hey, here's my money funnel, I need to contribute to it today, I need to do my daily live, or else I'm not going to get money. That's what it is. And as soon as you own up to it, as soon as you acknowledge yeah, I really need to put some effort in this, I can't be doing the same thing that I've been doing for years because I'm still in the same place, just with a little bit more followers. No, if you want to see real growth, that's when you start seeing the thousands. That's when you start seeing tens of thousands. That's real growth. And it doesn't happen to everybody. It only happens to about, I think it was 0.7% of YouTube creators actually do see that growth to where they get into the hundreds of thousands and the millions and stuff like that. Whereas there's millions of profiles that only have 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers. If you really want to put the work and effort, you need to If you really want to be successful, you need to put in the work and you need to put in the effort. Not saying like, well, this is my job, like this is how I make money, that's why people need to contribute and stuff like that. I don't think you're there yet, bro. I don't think you're at that level to where you could say, I don't need to have a 9 to 5, or I don't need to have a regular job because I'm a YouTube creator, I'm an influencer, I'm all this. Not when, you know, you haven't even broken like a high level. There's kids who start gaming channels that break like 10,000 in their first week. My cousin, he does like, like toy reviews, he does like the stuff that I used to do in the beginning. I mean, he broke like 8,000 in like 2-3 months. That's real work, where he goes and he actually does it. He works more than I do, so he's able to do like different content like that. But the fact that it's attainable, instead of catering to the same people who just want to hear the same thing over and over and over again, you got to kind of do something better. Do better for yourself. Where are we? Yeah, and there's plenty of YouTubers who do have like subscribers in the millions, and they still have their normal day jobs, and that's cool. They could easily, just say like, "Hey, I'm gonna live off of my YouTube money. Like, I'm cool. Like, I don't need to deal with that." But they know that YouTube is not a forever kind of thing. YouTube is supposed to be like the first step if you're going to go in a direction. Like if you're into beauty and you want to get into the fashion industry, yeah, you could start a YouTube channel and then eventually work with some companies, get some product reviews in, launch your own product. And that's where you go moving forward. There's a lot of YouTubers that I watch that now direct movies or do sound for movies or actors and stuff like that. So you shouldn't look at YouTube and be all like, hey, this is the final goal. I make money off of YouTube. I've made it. No, I don't think that's the case. Public apology. A public apology coming soon. For stating out facts, for calling people out for their actions. I mean, I'll take it. It doesn't bother me. Words of someone that lives 100 miles away doesn't bother me. I don't know why it bothers them. And because that comes up to another thing. Because this whole cornbread thing, I heard about it. Someone forwarded me like a synopsis of it. Of, I guess, Jaime posted cornbread, and then Ophelia and her sister took offense to it. While it's easy to say like, yeah, that was a real tongue in cheek, like, jab at them, like, since I think Angie's platform is about cornbread, I don't know. That's all I ever hear whenever anyone mentions her. Like I could see that. So I see where the offense is taken. But this is another case of, why does it bother you? Like, why are we gonna waste police time, ink, paper, because someone made a reference to me about corn muffins? Like, I don't see it. And with all these claims of, I don't watch this person, or I don't watch this content that I don't like, then why are you going to make a report on it if you don't watch it? If you're getting upset because people are sending you clips, you should be upset at the people that are sending you this stuff. Because if you truly don't watch, and you're truly a leader, and you're truly all these things that you claim to be that everyone calls you out on, why are you going to get upset over someone saying some words for you, like about you? Do you not realize that your videos have reached places like in other parts of the country, maybe even the world? And there's you could look at the comments of other videos to where people are making fun of you, people are saying all this crap about you, but you don't go after them. You go after the one who you're threatened about. Thin skinned people should not put themselves out there. And I mean, if you really didn't watch and you really didn't care and it really didn't bother you, then why make a live video crying about it, saying you're going to file charges, saying you feel threatened over a cornbread photo? I don't get it. At this point, I think it's everyone just like, I want to get this person in trouble. No, I want to get this person in trouble. I want to get this person arrested and stuff like that. And people have really lost sight of the whole way this started and what. Let me see. Yeah, it's out of sight, out of mind. I know I'm talked about on other platforms, other pages and stuff like that, but I don't go look at them. So as long as I don't see it, I don't know about it, I can't be bothered by it. That's what a leader does. That's what someone who is truly mature enough to handle their own emotions and actions handles it, by not being bothered by what someone who you don't even know what they look like, you don't know their name, you don't know where they are, you don't know, how short-sighted they are on things. So why are you going to get all like mad about it? Why are you going to let them gas you up so much to where you have to make a live letting them know you're getting to them? It just makes you look like you're losing, that you're in a losing battle because you get affected by a picture of cornbread. Okay. And people are going to start saying like, oh, well, he's siding with Jaime because he's only talking about Ophelia and stuff. No, 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 no. That's coming later. Okay. I'm not calling out her for, anything. I don't talk about looks. I don't talk about the way you speak, the way you present yourself. I talk about actions. And the action was, and it's clear as there, you could be upset. Everyone could be upset as much as they want about it. But the fact is, there was a live made about complaining about cornbread or corn muffins, and it was like 10 minutes or an hour. You really can't tell because you could get all this information in an hour long video and you could cram it down in like 5 minutes on what the real, plot of it is. You could summarize it really quick. Yeah. If they really cared and they really wanted to move on and they really wanted to, leave it all in the past, why forward it? Like, can you really call those people friends or supporters if they send it knowing you're going to get upset, knowing what it's going to do to you if you want to claim mental health issues or anything like that? But why are you going to send it to them and call these people friends for like putting you in this situation? Like, I know I have friends that have seen things. They don't tell me about them. They don't show them to me, but they'll be like, "Hey, yeah, like so and so mentioned you." I'm like, it doesn't bother me. Like, do I really care about this person's opinion? I think that's what it really comes down to. The fact that people want their image held so highly and they want people's opinions of them to be, these flawless idols, which, I mean, no, I don't get that. But they want to be held in such a high regard that, like, if someone has a bad opinion of them, they crash, they burn, they don't know how to deal with it. That it just gives me it just gives me I sat alone at the cafeteria because no one liked me vibes, because they want to be liked, they want to have everyone like them, but when it doesn't happen, it just maybe gives them a little bit of PTSD back to when they weren't liked, when they had to deal with ridicule, when they had to deal with not being invited to a party on the weekend, not being invited to, the group date night, maybe not even invited to prom, who knows? But that's what the vibe gives me. Looking at it, that's exactly what it feels like. Uh, Narcissistic collapse, I like that. Okay. Now, the second part I want to talk about, besides people using their audience just to fill pockets, is not taking actions for responsibilities. I know Frank gets called out a lot on this because Jaime wants Frank to own up to the whole Vanessa thing. No, it leads to arguments. It leads to conflict, and people are just getting so frustrated because of the lack of accountability that everyone is doing. Because, um, Haim has done the mocking and talking about Ophelia's mom and using her mom as a character. He took a little bit, like a little bit. I'll give him this. He took a little bit of accountability, but it still continued after he did it. Ophelia with the whole witchcraft Halloween thing, taking bath salts and biting someone's face off, whatever the hell that was, that happened. No accountability was taken. I do see that Frank was the spark that ignited this whole Vanessa thing. I feel that without Frank's platform, the Vanessa hype train wouldn't be as big as it is. I don't believe I've seen him take any accountability for that. I don't. He's talked about it, but according to him, like he has his reasons for addressing it or not addressing it the way he does. So there, you can't say that I'm picking sides because I kind of called out everybody there. And exactly, making fun of Ophelia's sons and stuff like that. I've said it so many times, even though they still say that, like, oh, well, I made fun of her sons or I talked about her sons. I've never done anything like that, and I've even called out when people do. But I think a lot of people don't take responsibility for their actions because they just don't want to be seen as doing something wrong. They want all their actions to be justified. They want everyone to support all their actions. They want everyone to back them up. They want everyone to be okay with things that they've done. But by admitting to it, by saying like, hey, I messed up, I shouldn't have done this, it makes them feel like maybe they lost a little bit of credibility because they're going back on something they done. I've done it. I said like, hey, I did cover Vanessa. I did it for a while. I didn't make my whole platform about it. I did other videos in between. I didn't write those coattails like all the way. I just made some videos about her, and then I stopped when I saw like, okay, there's other things to talk about. Why focus my platform on one person when I could, talk about so many other people? And that sounded bad. That made me sound kind of like a bully, but no, like when there's so many other things to talk about, why focus on one person? Why limit yourself to one person and continue to, beat a dead horse, to continue milking the cow when there's nothing left? And I said, I said it, and then when Vanessa called into my show, I even told her, I was like, yes, I feel like my videos went too far. If you go look at those videos, I think all of them are, I turned off monetization on, I think all of them. I need to go back, but I was like, I don't want this to be the reason why. Like, yes, they still get views, but I don't want that to be the reason why I'm earning money. So if you go look, I want to say a lot of those, I've turned off the monetization because I feel like that's just dirty money. Like making money off of talking about somebody without fully knowing the whole story. Like I've spoken to Vanessa, I've never met her in person, so a lot of things were assumptions. And I was like, I shouldn't have gone as far as I did. I could have gone a lot further. I could have gone a lot harder. I never talked about her video. I never talked about her daughters. I never live streamed. I never showed the arrest video. I never like got into like in depth of her life. I was just talking about what I saw in the videos. And even that, I feel like it was a little uncalled for. Like, why am I going to make 6 or 7 videos on one person? I did get a little addicted to the views. I wasn't even making money at that point. I still wasn't monetizing yet. But hey, I'd like to like, hey, I'm getting some views. And after a while, I was like, are these people really here watching for me, or are they here because I provide some content that, aligns with their opinion? So I stopped. I don't think I ever picked it back up once I dropped it. And yeah, I lost subscribers, I lost supporters. Some even got upset with me. But hey, that's their opinion. I'm not going to go after them for it. I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to try and shape myself into some way to benefit one or two subscribers when I could stay true to myself. I could speak the way I want. I could speak my mind and probably reach a big, wider audience. I don't need to, shoot myself in the foot and just stay on the one thing. So it's always important to strive for personal accountability. That's what everyone should be doing. And encourage others to do the same. Like I encourage, like, hey, if Frank's watching, everyone just wants to hear it out of you. Like everyone already has that opinion of you. Everyone already has, that image of you. By saying it, nothing's really gonna happen. Like it's not gonna, undo everything. Like everyone's still gonna have that image. But some people will hear that and be all like, okay, he owned up to it. What else could they say about you after that? Same thing with everyone else. Like everyone who dislikes a certain platform has one thing that made them dislike that platform. People probably dislike me because I used to call into Ophelia shows all the time, and I was, always happy to throw in, facts and do a little bit of education on certain topics. And people probably dislike that, I turned away. I said I didn't want to be a part of that platform anymore, and they're upset, or they've been upset, and then it's just started growing over that, like unresolved issues of whatever it is. I'm sure some opinions would change about if I said something along. This isn't me saying it, but I'm just doing not a hypothesis, a hypothetical. Just doing a hypothetical here. If I were to say, like, I should have never turned my back on Ophelia. I should have continued to call in. I should have continued to partake in those shenanigans that she does. People would be like, oh, okay. I don't have a reason to dislike him anymore. He, owned up to it. I see you's here. Hey, I see you. I see you. I'm talking about everyone here. I think you need to start from the beginning before you start getting really defensive because said one little thing about Ophelia. I talked about Frank. I talked about Jaime and everything like that. So no need to get all upset right now because we know how you get. I've seen it in the comments. I frame them. It was the height of the COVID is what started all this. That's where it came. That's where it started. That's when I was introduced to all this. With the first thing that I was introduced to was the whole Bonnie and the Crucible door. I think I did a video on that. I see. I have not said that. I see you. Are her shenanigans any worse than JC's? No. And if you would have watched from earlier, instead of doing the assumptions you're doing, you would have been all like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't have to ask this question because it's been answered. Even when I went to go buy a car, like in 2020, I was in the car dealership and I was there watching, the live streams and the back and forth and the drama and stuff like that. It it captured a lot of us. A lot of us became not obsessed. Some people obsessed because some people this is how they live their lives now, but some people just became so focused on it. It became like I said a long time ago, like a wrestling show. Like it just became like this scheduled piece of chaos that everyone you know started breaking off into fractions from. And I've always been about like, let's do something more positive when I do like, the charity events or just raising money for someone. And that's how I felt with the Christmas toy drive that I did. Hold on, let me just delete that. Yet, who's been arrested for harassment the most times? Okay, there's a difference between charges made versus arrest. If you want to say like, oh, who's had the most arrests? Okay, you could say Jaime, but like, let's say who's filed more charges. It doesn't block out, and this is where a lot of the issues come up because one side will twist anything to benefit the person they follow while the other side does the same, and then that's when you get these audience members like going after each other, just trying to get someone to say like that the person they follow is held higher at any point. No one is held higher in this, in my opinion. You could like who you like. I don't hate you for it. I don't attack you for who you like, which is the way it should be. But the way I see it, everyone is still ground level. No one has taken that first step to a higher position. No one's taken that step to be a better person, because we're all still here doing the same things, talking about the same things, talking about the same people, maybe with a few special guest stars every now and then that like to, rear their heads around. But it's not about my person's better or this person's better. It should be about, hey, I like this person. I'm gonna follow this person. I'm not gonna listen to what all these others say. Because if you really weren't into the drama and you were just there to talk about the person you liked and just be there with the person you liked, no, you wouldn't hear about me. You wouldn't hear about, Jaime. People who didn't really care about the drama and were there to support Jaime, they wouldn't know what's going on with Ophelia. They would let Ophelia do her thing, uh, whatever with the corn muffins that everyone likes joking around about, their little topics. Jaime could go do his wigs, his makeup, whatever he's going to be working on. I could go and do my, talking about movies and true crime and stuff like that. And there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to kind of intersect if everyone's going their own way. But when people start doing the let's live stream this person, or let's share this person's photos and stuff like that, well, that's when you're crossing the lines, and that's when you're, causing these collisions with the audience, and that's not really what's needed. Yeah, well, her, Annette, everyone called me names. They had a contest at one point where they could come up with the best abbreviation for DD, and there's like all these different ones. There's some really good ones. Glow came after me hard and came up with one that I actually liked, that I have on a separate account for whenever I want to use that account. I can't remember what it is, but it was a good one, so I gave her credit. She might have been upset at me. She probably still is upset with me, but she gave me a good name, so I thank her for that. Uh, am I getting notifications here? Okay. Where else? Okay. And then something came up recently. And I think like both sides are doing this. I think both Jaime and Ophelia are both doing this, that I feel needs to be called out. So you can't say that I'm taking sides. You can't say that I'm showing sympathy. You can't say that I'm neutral here. I've always been neutral. If people don't think I'm neutral, it's just because I'm not picking their side, which defeats the whole point of me saying that I'm neutral. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna open up the phone lines before I end the show. If anyone wants to call in and ask a question, give their statement, give their opinion. I don't block. I don't have moderators. I don't need moderators. Um, where a lot of people, get upset. The whole reason Ophelia was mad at me is because I didn't have moderators to. I'm not going to get into that, but it was the whole your audience was talking bad about me. I didn't like it kind of thing. When I had Jaime on and he was being trashed in the comments, I think Frank was being trashed in the comments. Even recently, when I had Frank on a couple weeks ago, people were calling him out. And no one cried about it. But Ophelia turned against me and she made me enemy number one for like a week because of it. But I'm no one to, yeah, I always say when I have a guest, like, hey, let's try and be respectful. Let's let this person speak their opinion, and just keep it civil. You could say your opinion that you don't like somebody, that you have an issue with somebody, but just do it in a civil way. That's all I could do as a creator. I'm not like some supreme power that can, will banish you because you didn't do what I said or anything like that. You're your own person. You could say your own opinions. And that's the way I've always liked running my channel. I might be working on something to where I might have to have moderators policing that one video at the request of this one person. Um, but it's so obvious you're not neutral. I see. Give me one example of me not being neutral, and I'll explain it to you in a way that maybe you could understand where it is neutral. You just might be getting upset because I'm not sharing your opinion, but that doesn't have to make us, enemies. It doesn't have to make us, on opposite sides just because we don't share the same opinion. Like I could probably ask you, hey, what's your favorite ice cream? It'll probably be different than my ice cream, but are you gonna fight with me about it? Are you gonna, start a whole battle because I don't like whatever cookies and cream, vanilla, Neapolitan crap you like versus like my orange creamsicle like preference? No, and that's what it is. That's what a lot of people have the issue with, is just because our opinions don't align, I hate you for it. It shouldn't be like that. And that's what it's just people talking in the comments, but a lot of people don't have the thick enough skin. They're too, reptilian smooth brained to know how to deal with their emotions and be like to just be okay with it, to where they see something they don't like and they want to go after the person. That's a play school mentality. That is, I don't like you, so I'm gonna hit you, kind of thing that you see with toddlers. This isn't the kind of behavior that you should see from adults who are on any kind of level functioning well and should be like normal members of society. That's how it's always been. Okay, I see you. I'll answer this, but can you answer me something too? I've said things about Jaime harassing people. I've called out the harassing. If you've noticed, I don't appear on the show anymore, like as much. Whenever it's about harassing, when it's a topic that's just a general topic that anyone could talk about, yeah, I'll comment, I'll be a part of it. But as soon as it starts becoming an attack or anything that could be organized as an attack, you don't see me there. You've never seen me there. But I want you to answer. Has Ophelia harassed anybody? Like in your, like, not taking sides, not being scared that she might come after you, not being scared of being exiled from the Peacocks. You as a person, as an individual with your own opinions, can you say that she has never harassed anybody? That's all. Like I'll answer any questions you have. I always have answered, and I've always spoken to you with respect. But can you honestly say that she hasn't done the same? Like, that's what I want to know. Yeah, and the thing is, I defend myself, I defend my actions, but I don't use, you know, a middle school language of cussing and yelling, saying it's, my tone and candor. No, that's a result of your environment that gives you that kind of voice, that gives you that kind of language. That's about your environment. That's not a tone and a candor, okay? That's learned behavior. It's a really bad excuse for acting a certain way. And I'm just doing it my way, a way that uses words with, you know, more than three syllables on what some people are probably used to, that come from a place where I actually think about what I'm going to say before I say it. I don't just shoot from the hip, because I need to make sure that, hey, is this a reasonable approach? Is this a reasonable way to address this? Or am I just speaking out of emotions because I'm angry? No, I always think about what I'm going to say. I don't, excuse me, I don't just say what's on top of my mind because it's gonna make people go ooh ah clap and support me and stuff like that. I'm okay with people not liking me. I'm okay with people not supporting me, because that doesn't change the fact that I'm not speaking my mind. Uh, so you're saying that she's done it as bad as he has? because at this point, that's why I say, like, everyone, no one could say that they're the victim. No one could say that they're innocent. No one could say that they're, being attacked or anything like that, because everyone dishes it out. It's not about defending myself. It's not about defending yourself. It's not about, protecting my family. It's not about all this. It's the fact that you don't like someone talking about you, so you play ball with them back. And it's that constant back and forth. Because if it wasn't a back and forth, the ball would have been dropped and wouldn't be picked up anymore, and everyone would just go on home and do their own thing. But with this constant back and forth, I'm gonna say some stuff, they're gonna say some stuff, I'm gonna have a one-liner back, I'm gonna have something to say back. That's why they can't claim victim. They can't say that they're being harassed. And that's the reason why a lot of police departments aren't taking this seriously, because person A could do a report on person B for harassment. Person B shows the officers, hey, this is what person A has done to me. I'm just, giving my feedback. Then they go back to person A and it's like, no, well, they said this about me too. So it's back and forth. So why waste resources because you can't handle your emotions? Grow up. People need to grow up. Okay. She's protecting her first right. Jaime's protecting his first right. I'm protecting my first right by calling out, these childish behaviors, because a lot of people will try and hide behind the First Amendment. Say like, oh, well, it's freedom of speech. Freedom of speech doesn't give you the right to say anything you want. You can't say fire in a theater. You can't use your words that would cause any harm towards anyone. And we're gonna get into the whole mental health issue thing, because I have a huge problem with that. But all your reasonings, I see you, all your defenses could be applied to the other side. And that's what I've always called out. Like, everyone just, you know side B will say like, hey, that person had a really good defense for these actions, I'm going to use it. And then side A will be all like, hey, I'm going to use the same reasoning they did to justify my actions. It's a whole back and forth. It's not one above all, it's everyone at the bottom of the barrel. Okay. I see you. You are more than welcome to call in, message me. I feel like we've done too much of this back and forth, so it's kind of sidetracking. But if I remember correctly, Ophelia did the same thing when she was arrested, to where she did a whole week of talking about uh, elder intercourse. There was the cooking one, the recipe one, and stuff like that. And I have the screenshot of the numbers where all the numbers went down, the subscribers went down. So what happened? Everyone got back on, because Jaime had stopped during that time also when they called a ceasefire. But everyone's numbers were going down on both sides. Here I am picking no side at all, just mine. So everyone resorted back to, I'm gonna talk about this person because it's gonna bring me views and it's gonna bring me money. So, right back at you with that one. But hey, I'm gonna put my number up. You could call if you want to discuss this further. We could have a quicker back and forth than me having to wait for you to put a response together. Uh, okay. Now, this whole mental illness thing that everyone's claiming now. If you followed my channel long enough, you know I'm huge. I'm huge on mental illness. I've done lots of charity events for mental illness. I've talked about it. I've had shows dedicated to identifying mental illness, and I understand that no mental illness is the same between two people. Everyone has their own severity of it. Everyone has their own way of handling it. Everyone has their own way of being affected by it, and it it ranges from like depression. You got anxiety. You got mood swings. You got personality disorders. You have so many different things. But you should never use mental issues or your mental health as an excuse to justify any actions. It isn't a get out of jail free card. It isn't a I get to do what I want card. It isn't a shield that protects you from owning up to your actions. This is where accountability comes back into play. If you have a mental illness, okay, know your limits. You get the help you need. You do what you got to do to keep that under control. You don't get to bring it out, flash it around because you're getting in trouble for it, or you're getting in trouble for things that you've done. So you say, hey, I got mental issues. It's okay. I got this. I think it has serious consequences when you start getting into that habit of talking about mental issues, talking like about using it as, like I said, a shield, a way out. And what it does is it really gives a bad look to people who really do have mental illnesses that don't use it as a way to act out, who really do want to just be, I don't want to use the word normal because no one's normal. Even if you don't have mental issues, you're not normal. But it's giving a bad taste to people who really do suffer from a real mental illness, one that actually affects every second of their life, not one that could be, handled under medication, not one that, you have to tell people about it just so people will know because they can't tell by looking at you. And let me see. Oh, this is this thing. Mental illness has, you need proper treatment, you need proper support, but by using it as an excuse for your actions, you're just minimalizing the seriousness of the condition, of the situation, and it leads to like just a lack of understanding. Because if you're using this as your excuse to talk bad about people, to harass people, to say, ugly things about people, that's just throwing it on the community that like, oh, well, if they have a mental illness, they're going to talk bad about people. It doesn't affect everyone the same way. But by you taking it and making it like, hey, I talk shit, but it's okay, I have a mental illness, that's not okay. It's just perpetuating a harmful stereotype to people who really do suffer from mental illness. And it just makes them feel that it just makes it look like if you have a mental illness, you're unpredictable, you're dangerous, you are harmful, you have no control of your actions. When there's people with extreme mental illnesses that are able to have regular jobs, who are able to go through life without having to announce it, without having to, talk about it. Which is why I don't joke about mental illness. That's why I don't try and minimize the seriousness of mental illness and mental health. I mean, we're in May. I think it's Mental Health Month, of all times to be talking about this. Where was I? It also makes it hard for people who really do have a mental illness to seek help, to want to get help from others, when the whole stereotype is that they're unstable. Like, I don't know if y'all remember that movie Deuce Bigelow, where there was that one girl who had Tourette's, and they made a big joke out of it, like, oh yeah, she has Tourette's, so she cusses all the time. That is like an extremely rare form of Tourette's. Usually Tourette's are just like tics, making random noises, just not being able to control what you say. It hurt the community that deal with Tourette's system. It hurt the Tourette's community with that movie coming out. But that just shows how perpetuating it in a negative way could really affect the way everyone looks at everyone with that condition. Oh, what is it? Like I myself, I haven't been diagnosed with any mental illness, but thanks to TikTok, I feel like I have every single thing that comes out there, but I'm not self diagnosing. That's a really slippery slope right there. But I still like to talk about it because I feel that it affects way more people than we realize. But for someone to go and commit a crime, we're not talking about the harassing, we're not talking about like the stuff that's going on right now. We're talking about like a serious crime. If someone commits like a serious crime, but then they claim that their mental illness forced them to do it, or they were doing it because they haven't uh, medicated themselves or anything, but they use it just as a way of avoiding any consequences, that really gives them just a lack of accountability, because they're like, oh well, this worked for me last time, so I'm going to do it this time. um I don't know if you ever saw that episode of South Park where Cartman thought where Cartman said that he had Tourette's because he thought he could use it as, an excuse to talk crap about anyone, or like an excuse to cuss during school. Like, there's no accountability. He's not a character that takes any accountability either way, but like, just to show that it becomes an abusive way to get yourself out of trouble. And it's essential to recognize that any kind of mental illness, whether it's bipolar, depression, anxiety, DID, there's so many out there, that they're all very serious conditions. They all need the proper support. They need to be treated the right way. But it's not an excuse to use it as a harmful, destructive device and to justify any behavior just because you think it's going to help your image, just because you think it's going to help you if you have to go to court, or to say that, someone who's being harassed has this mental illness, so they shouldn't be held accountable if they lash out and say things back because it's their mental illness talking, it's not them. No, everyone, take responsibility for your actions. You knew what you were doing. You, in this case, continue to do so. And if it's really that much of a mental illness, maybe a higher level of help is needed. Maybe, taking yourself out of the picture for a while could benefit you. A lot of YouTubers discover they have mental illnesses because of the anxiety and the stress and all the stuff that keeping a schedule puts on you, by constantly having people comment like to you in a negative way. A lot of YouTubers develop these mental illnesses that need to get checked, and anytime it happens, that's when they'll step back. Jenna Marbles was probably one of the biggest YouTubers with, millions and millions of followers. She was able to, quit her job. She was able to like live off of this, but it was hurting her mentally, and she didn't like what it was doing to her. She didn't want to force herself to continue making these videos. She didn't want to force herself to do this because she knew it was just hurting her mentally even more. So she took the responsible decision and she retired from YouTube. She retired at the height of her platform, and she hasn't made a video in years, but she'll make an Instagram post or a Facebook post or a tweet saying how much better her life is because she's not putting herself in the spotlight, how much it benefited her and her relationship with her husband because she's not focused on the rebuttal. She's not focused on, oh, I haven't made a video in 3 days, I need to make a video kind of thing. So if it's really that much of an issue to where you believe your actions are being affected by your mental health, taking a step back is not bad. There's times where I feel that it's hurting me mentally and I'll disappear from YouTube for like a month or so. I think there's a time where I was gone for 3 months and then I came back. And when I came back, I was rejuvenated. I felt like I had just started my platform again. I was excited. It gave me time to like actually work on content. So that's just a that's just a recommendation I make. Man, I haven't even been scrolling. There's a lot I'm missing. Um, but by doing that, it's going to improve your well being. It's going to, um, like if when you disappear, when you take a break, you don't have to deal with people talking about you. You kind of take that weapon away from them to where if you're not making videos, they have nothing to talk about, and you kind of see how content will change and stuff like this. Um, so yeah, that was a couple of the things that I wanted to say. I know I've see Isabel did something very brave and not something not a lot of people do is they'll admit, they'll like kind of own up to it. They will saying she said she acknowledged it. Therapy was given, help was sought out, and all cured now. Congrats to that. Look, I have a couple of minutes. Okay? If someone wants to call in, if someone wants to send a text, usually people do text because they're scared to put a comment on here and it gets back to, whoever they support and it ostracizes them. But why do people bring drama? Because everyone wants to be seen as right. Everyone wants to say, "Hey, I follow this person and I'm choosing the right person." There's no right. It's it's pretty much like a double-edged sword. It's whatever hill you're willing to die on because that's the way it goes sometimes. It is well since you admit, I just have a question. Like, how would you feel, Isabel, if since you're cured from this, if someone was shoplifting in a store, you witnessed them shoplift, you saw them with your own eyes, and when they're caught, they pull out the "oh, I'm a klepto" card to try and minimize something that you struggled with, something that you fought. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, would it upset you because it's something that you fought for so long? It's something that you dealt with. It's something that you saw a change that you wanted to make, but they're using it to like try and justify their actions so they don't get in trouble for it. That's the way I see it. I see a lot of people doing that, and I'm not saying I have an issue with you. You have a mental illness. I'm not saying I have an issue with you because of your poor mental health. I just have an issue if you're using it to justify your actions. Um, I think I have a text that someone came in and texted. Hold on. Okay. No, I did have some comments. People that are saying that they don't have an issue. They're just not wanting to speak because they know their presence might cause like a huge derailment of this whole thing. But that's all I'm saying. You could like who you like. You could watch who you like. You could support who you support. You just need to realize that I can't even put it into words. But allow yourself to take a step back because I've had to do that many times. Take a step back, watch with a fresh set of eyes, and try and ask yourself, like, is this really someone that I want to be associated with? Is this really someone's actions that I could be okay with? That's all. But it is getting late. I crossed the hour mark, which is something I didn't want to do. Um, will this be my last show? I don't know. Maybe I will do my taking a break thing because I've got so much issues with like all these things that are happening, and as much as I try and ignore it, it's hard. I've unsubscribed, I've unfollowed, I've done like a lot of things, but it just still seems that just by me existing, by me having a platform, I'm supposed to pick a side, or I'm supposed to talk about a specific person because everyone wants me to. No, I felt like I needed to talk about this because this powder keg is, getting ready to burst. A lot of bad things are going to start coming for people, and I don't want it to happen, regardless of whatever side you're on. I don't think you should have a rap sheet because you talked about someone online, or a rap sheet because you engaged with actions of someone else talking about someone else online. So that's why I wanted to just talk about today's episode. It wasn't to bash. When I say I don't bash, I actually mean it. It was just to make commentary on things that are going on. We talked about the people dry begging for cash apps. We talked about using the mental health. We talked about people being accountable for their actions and stuff like that. And that, I feel, applies to so many more than just one person. And if it does bother you, if you do feel like you're harassed, or if you do feel that I'm picking on you, or you feel that I'm attacking you or bashing you, watch the whole video and not just one clip that someone sent you that painted you in a bad light. Because I didn't pick sides. I didn't say this person's over this person. No, I'm going to say it again. You all are at the same level. Everyone's at the same level. You could call yourself a influencer. You could call yourself like all these things. But can you really call yourself an influencer if you're still depending on donations and you're not able to sustain yourself financially with your social media platform? I think that's when you are an influencer, when you're actually able to sustain yourself based on like just your revenue that comes in, not the memberships, not the donations, not all that. When you're able to keep your lights on your own, that's, to me, that's when you're an influencer. I don't consider myself an influencer. I still feel that I'm at least 49,000 subscribers away from being considered an influencer. But I don't know. With all this, maybe I probably will come back. Like at the end of the week, I'll probably just stay quiet for like the next week, maybe 2 weeks. Gather my thoughts to do like, I guess, a part two to this, or whoever. I never saw you pick a side. Yeah, and it's really funny that one side says I pick a side, but the other side is like, no, you're neutral. Like you disagree with our opinions too, but we're still cool with you. That's a level-headed approach there. But no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I like this too much. This is too much of a good outlet for me. To where I feel that my mental health might go down if I didn't have anywhere to speak my opinion and stuff. And yeah, I might get bashed. Yeah, might get attacked, but it's not to the point where it throws me off my game. As you can see, ICU is disagreeing with me um, so much, but where other people would block, throw in the jail, cuss, attack, never did I do that. And that's something you need to look at when you start comparing these other people and be like, why do I follow this person but not this person when they do the exact same thing? Or why do I dislike this person even though this person never said anything? Like, I don't know. But I will talk to y'all later. The My inbox is always open if anyone wants to like ask any other questions. You could have one on one. I always have one on ones with people. Um yeah, you'll have a good one, and I will talk to you later.